If secrecy is a means, then what is the end? A benevolent order, one that safeguards wisdom rather than hoards power, does not remain secret merely for its own sake. Secrecy is a method of filtration, a way to separate those who seek knowledge for truth from those who crave it for self-aggrandizement. But secrecy alone is not enough. The ultimate test of a true order is not whether it hides, but whether it ultimately reveals. True wisdom, unlike power, is not a finite resource to be monopolized. It is self-replenishing, expanding as it's understood. A benevolent order does not exist to withhold, but to prepare. The measure of its integrity is whether its members ultimately outgrow the need for it. If an organization demands perpetual adherence, it fails the test of wisdom, for the truth it guards should lead to liberation, not dependency. In this way, the true esoteric order does not seek to maintain itself as an institution, but to act as a bridge, one that eventually disappears once crossed. Throughout history, initiatory traditions have relied on trials to assess the sincerity of seekers. These trials, whether physical, intellectual, or spiritual, serve a singular function: to demonstrate that the aspirant values truth above self-interest. A true order does not recruit followers, nor does it seek numbers, influence, or public recognition. Instead, it allows seekers to find their own way, offering only guidance when the student has demonstrated readiness. The esoteric axiom holds true: when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But the teacher does not impose. He only confirms what the student has already begun to perceive. Contrast this with false orders, which construct elaborate hierarchies that serve only to entrench power. They manufacture mystique without substance, offering empty rituals and superficial initiations that bestow rank without real transformation. Their secrecy is not a veil of protection, but of control. The more a member rises in rank, the more they are entangled in the organization's influence, bound by vows that ensure loyalty rather than enlightenment. Here, secrecy becomes an end in itself, a means to keep power centralized rather than distributed. The highest truths in such orders are either non-existent or deliberately withheld, ensuring that no one ever truly reaches the summit. But can truth remain hidden forever? Every age has its cycles of concealment and revelation. What was once secret knowledge, kept within the sanctums of hidden schools, often finds its way into the world when humanity is ready. The printing press once made sacred texts widely available, just as modern digital archives have brought esoteric traditions to those who seek them. In the past, one had to dedicate years to uncovering wisdom that can now be accessed in seconds. Yet, accessibility alone does not equal understanding. If wisdom could be gained by reading alone, the world would already be transformed. This is the paradox of revelation. Truth can be spoken, but only the prepared mind can hear it. Thus, the role of the true order is not simply to guard knowledge, but to ensure its proper transmission. It must preserve what is timeless while allowing what is obsolete to fade. It must recognize that knowledge, once given, cannot be controlled, only understood or misunderstood. A genuine esoteric tradition, if it is to be called benevolent, must not remain static. It must evolve, dissolving its own barriers when secrecy is no longer necessary, knowing that the highest truths are meant to be lived, not merely studied. In this age, the challenge is no longer the availability of knowledge, but the discernment to recognize truth amidst deception. The false orders continue, not by hoarding wisdom, but by flooding the world with distractions, distorting what is real through layers of illusion. The true initiates of this era are not those who gain access to hidden books or obscure rites, but those who can sift through endless information and extract the essence of what is true. The next step in the path is not secrecy, but clarity, the ability to see through the noise and recognize wisdom whenever it appears. If a benevolent order exists today, its role may no longer be to conceal, but to illuminate, to reveal without overwhelming, to teach without demanding loyalty, to guide without controlling. The time of absolute secrecy may be passing. What remains is the test of worthiness, not imposed by gatekeepers, but by the very nature of wisdom itself. The final initiation is not the entrance into a secret society, but the ability to walk alone, knowing that the highest truth is always within reach, waiting for those who have eyes to see.